Hey everybody, welcome to another video. This time is the S.H.Figuarts Kamen Rider OOO's renewal from Bandai. So yeah, let's get started. My second favorite rider, now in his 2.0 fashion and form. It is great to see, it is great to have, and is an excellent toy in my opinion. But let's jump into what's going on. First off, we want to start by the look. It's absolutely fabulous. Has a great uniform look. It doesn't look as skinny or small, even though it's still pretty much around the same height. It's proportion wise is just crazy better. Like that of Double or Wizard or even Kuga, we have this great body sculpt that they make it look exactly like that of the suit actor. So let's get started. Articulation wise, this one's gonna be fun. So head wise, his head can look up, it can look down, it can actually tilt left and right. The collar is actually not so much in the way. As you can see here, you can look over to the side and vice versa. Can tilt all the way through and around, but the further back you try to go around doing the 360, the stiffer the head gets. So just keep that in mind. The arms can go up and they extend very easily, very nicely. The shoulder pads being on the chest, allowing for a greater range of movement, is great because this is just wonderful. So we have bicep swivel here, and not just in the arm, but also here. There is a forearm wiggle that allows you an extra range of motion, rotating back and forth, which is great. You have your standard SHF wrist joint rotation. Yeah, as in circumference rotation, right? And there is a small sort of circular joint inside that allows you to rotate around and through just as well. Now, with that being said, you would think this big bulky midsection would allow for no ab crunch, but you can actually rotate it up a little bit. It actually gives you a nice forward ab crunch, nice backwards movement. You can swivel left to right on both the upper torso and the lower torso. That obviously will move the belt around a little, but that's not something you should actually worry about. The legs can go further out than any other renewal at the moment that I can think of outside of Double. And he has crazy, crazy, crazy ankle pivot. Now this by far has to be the best ankle pivot on any renewal that we've gotten so far, to the point where he can do that. Now, I don't think there's any other one who could do that to that extent without it looking this good. So that's pretty great that we have that. Rotates all the way in. There's a toe pivot, and it rotates back and swivels back and front. The knees are double jointed, and they extend up pretty far. So now you can kind of get in these poses. Oh, by the way, the scanning charge actually rotates over here, so that way it doesn't get in the way of your articulation. So let's say you wanted to get in those edgy poses, and I'll get to the hands in a second. But if you want to get to those poses where you can actually get into stances like this, it is absolutely zero problem. As you can see, I've done it just now, and it looks fantastic. And these are the things that I talk about, where it constantly gets better and better, and I'm starting to see companies actually take notice. So this is a great figure in terms of articulation already, where it gives you the look and the feel already. So for those of you that love the show and want to create scene for scene, you're already in a great state of motion for O's. So that's pretty cool. We're actually going to leave him like this for a second. And as you can see, even with the lopsided leg pivot, it's just voila. Now, first things first, I want to talk about the hands. So we're going to get into the hands. And for O's signature pose, he has kind of like these open hands for Ratarata. These are great. These pop on just fine. And I'm actually going to pop one of them on, so you can see how good they look, right? And voila. Looks fantastic. Now, I absolutely love this. And O's might be my new favorite renewal. I didn't think that I would have a favorite one so soon, but the way they've done him so far, it looks straight out of the show. Straight up excellent suit design and everything. So then also with the hands, you get hands for holding his medals in particular. And the reason why I wanted to go over the hands so quickly is because you actually get tiny medals. And that's the thing about these renewals, is that they give you accuracy where they can. Now, I'm scared of losing this, so I'm not going to have it out too long. So I just want to talk about it as quickly as possible. You actually have to cut it out from here. And as you can see, this tiny, tiny medal, if I could actually get a focus on it. Nope, I can't. But these tiny medals can actually go inside the driver for you to change forms, which is pretty cool. I'm actually going to pop that back in because I'm scared of losing that indefinitely. And you actually get a hand for holding those, which I'm not going to try to attempt to do. Normally I would, but I'm definitely scared of losing those, and I don't have an extra just yet. You also get a hand for holding items. And this one is a more passive holding hand, kind of like a reaching out hand. And these are absolutely very great. They're fashioned in a way that it kind of has an action feel, but also a passive feel. Then you get hands for holding weapons, which is absolutely great. Now, the weapon he has is the Metal Jabiru. It's his signature weapon in the show that he uses and gets from the Kogami Foundation. And voila, it holds in his hand just fine. Very, very nice. There's also a lever here for when you want to add cell metals for the gimmick. And the cell metal gimmick is a swappable piece right here on the back of the sword. What you do is you pop it right out. And on the clear visor side, what you'll do is you just add it in. Oop, sorry. So you just add it in as if the cell metals were full, and voila. Last but not least, you have a hand for the scanning charge, which works just like the gimmick in the real thing. So I took that off, and when you want to do a finisher or henshin, you absolutely just place the hand in here, and it holds it just fine. Right, voila. For those of you who want the accuracy on how it looks, I have the DX belt here, and it's pretty cool. So DX belt wise, I think that the O's renewal actually holds up pretty well. Here's the scanning charger. So I think in terms of accuracy, it pretty much holds up really, really well. Now, outside of the things that you don't already know, I do want to talk about some other things. And one of those is the simple fact that you do have one arm gimmick, and that's for his actual, when he uses the Ratarata claws and activate them. Well, the Tora part of the claws. And these actually fold up so you can be able to put the hand on very easy, and they fold right back down. They only go up to about this far, so that way they don't go too far back to cause any damage. But they give you one for each side. Very clear, very easy. So he absolutely looks great. I mean, in terms of what he comes with, the fashion-wise, this is probably one of their best figures. And look, a cell metal came out. I mean, well, core metal in this case. So let's try to make sure you push it all the way in. So they also give you this to help push it in and out. And you have to make sure it's all the way in, because if it's not, it will fall out. So let's say you want to do a kick. This is not the O's version of the kick. I'm just showing you a rider kick. Fashion, well, it just looks good. I don't know how to say it looks bad, because it's just not true. It would be a lie to say that any of this looks bad or unsightly. It looks absolutely fabulous. So here it is with a version of the kick. But if you were doing O's kick, you would actually put the legs forward and jump forward, and the arms would be backwards. For O's kick, you would have the 3 rings. Then you would probably use the SIC feature, because he uses a double kick, so it's not a regular kick. Now, real quick, I'm going to stand him up. I'm going to move all of this stuff out of the way, and I'm going to compare him to his previous 1.0, as well as the 1.0 for Birth, who is on his is in his show. He's also his secondary writer, and I believe I took out Proto Birth, but I think you guys will get the gist of it, right? Let's take this off. Let's pop this back on. I'm going to talk about the sizes and the differences and things like that. So we have this guy here looking fantastic. Then we're going to compare him to his 1.0, which is right here. And I'm pretty sure you guys can notice right away differences wise. There's, well, I won't say color, because I probably wore this guy out from playing with him. So on the right, we have the renewal. Here we have the 1.0. And proportion-wise, we see the claw difference, the belt difference, the waist, the proportions. Everything is just smaller. It's just unproportionate. There's these big, doofy chests, and the little heads. And don't get it twisted, they were great for what they were years ago. At this point, about 7 years ago now. But it's great to have a 2.0 that just looks absolutely better. Now, here he is with the 1.0 birth prototype. And also you can see here, it doesn't look as good. It'll hold up together in probably photos if he's in the background. But I just don't think that birth will hold pretty well with O's in the foreground without it looking, a little wonky. You see he look a little outdated. Now that we've done that though, let's also compare him to a greed. I'm going to use the regular old ink until I can find my other greed. And ink looks okay, considering he's a kaijin. It looks a little bit more proportionate, a little better, so that works out. And now we're going to compare him to another renewal, so you can see proportion-wise just how nice these guys are compared to everyone else. And here we have double. And I chose double because these guys technically teamed up in a movie together, and these guys will absolutely look fabulous together, and that's really good. Oh, a couple of more things I do want to point out before I jump into the rest of the size comparisons is that if you have the O's Putotero combo, the old 1.0, if you want the hands actually work on this guy, so that way you can actually dual wield the Mero Jabaru and the Mega Daibiru. I can't remember if I pronounced that correctly. But you can dual wield this. This works actually just fine in his hands, and it actually looks really good. It actually has me looking forward to a Putotero combo for SHF 2.0. I would love that. Also, if you have the effects, you can also use the sword effects for your greed. It actually holds really well. As you can see, no loss, no gain. And the foot effect works as well. Although it does not fit perfectly, you can slide it in to kick any Yumis that you want, and it'll hold at the base of the foot. See? So those are the things that if you held on to your 1.0s, you'll actually be in pretty much a point where you're a little bit ahead of the game as far as effects, because your old O's effects will work here. Now we're going to jump into size comparison with other lines. First, I'm going to do a Joker from Mezco. Show you the size differences. And O's looks really tiny next to him, but, it's also not terrible. Tiny, but not terrible. Because, if you actually want to show off heights of people, everybody's different sizes, right? Then we have the Marvel Legends Spider-Man. This guy looks a little bit better next to him. Not by much, but still better, right? Then we have the Articulated Icons Ninja. These guys actually look really well next to SHF stuff. They scale a lot better. Storm Collectibles, which is obviously gigantic. I'm going to use Marcus Phoenix here. Shows you that these guys are nowhere near the same scale as each other. He's even in the background. It shows to be a little bit bigger. Well, a lot bigger in this case. Then we're going to compare him to the White Ranger from the Lightning Collection. And I think these guys actually work in a very good height with each other. The Lightning Collection is not that much bigger, but they scale and look and feel a lot more in their scale. And just to show you the old SHF Super Sentai / Power Ranger stuff, see where that stuff is with it. So you can see here, these guys are actually not very proportionate to it, but size-wise, they look really well to it. Last but not least, I've been playing around with the DC Essential stuff. Much bigger stuff, but I feel like we should throw it in there until I can figure out a more DC different alternative, right? You can see Brainiac is gigantic, but he's supposed to be big, so this actually works out scale-wise in my favor. In the meantime, guys, I hope you enjoyed. I hope you found it informative. Last of all, I hope you do good, be good, drink your water, guys. Later.